Back to follow-up segment tonight. Trouble within the Democratic Party. On Sunday, former Senator Jim Webb from Virginia, a well-regarded Democrat, said this.
The Democratic Party over the past 5 or 6 years has moved very far to the left. When you can't have a Jefferson-Jackson dinner, which was the primary, celebratory event of the Democratic Party for years, because Jefferson and Jackson were slaveholders, they were also great Americans in their day. Something just different has happened to the Democratic Party.
You think they're too focused on identity politics?
Well, I think that the message that has been shaped by the Democratic Party has been shaped toward identity politics, and they've lost the key part of their base, the people.
All right, joining us now from Washington, Lisa Booth and Juan Williams. So, Juan, used to be that Democrats held fundraisers under the banner of Jefferson-Jackson dinners.
Right.
But you can't do that anymore. It's like John Calhoun is out the window. Jefferson and Jackson are out the Democratic Party window. So what's going on?
Well, I think obviously you have the base of the Democratic Party now as black, Latino, educated young people. And I think their attitude towards Jefferson Jackson and the old part of the Democratic Party is that they're not comfortable with it. They don't like it, especially as you were discussing in the previous segment. You have the reaction to the fact that many people were involved with slavery or slaveholders. Remember, the older Democratic Party was the party of the segregationist South, especially after the Civil War. So to celebrate that for this newer 21st century constituency of the Democratic Party, it doesn't fit, Bill.
Okay, but I think that's going to shrink the party even further, Lisa, by turning their backs on Thomas Jefferson and people like that. It just becomes more radicalized. Am I wrong?
No, I absolutely agree with you, Bill. And I think it's not only just the racial identity politics. It's also, focusing on sex. It's also focusing on issues like transgender bathrooms or issues like climate change that the majority of Americans don't list as their top issues. And, Bill, I think you can see the way that it's impacted the Democratic Party by looking at the current House makeup. You've got 1/3 or more than 1/3 of Democrats coming from California, Massachusetts, and New York. 2/3 of Democrats are either from the East Coast or the West Coast, and the problem for the Democratic Party is you've got to be able to win, these blue-collar states. You've got to be able to win other parts of the country outside of the East and West Coast.
Now, Juan, do you think political correctness is strangling the Democrats now? I mean, it really is out of control to some extent.
I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, clearly what you have is, a Democratic Party that I think is more in touch with the changing face of the country right now.
Then why is Donald Trump president then?
Oh, I think that Donald Trump was successful in winning the Electoral College. He didn't win the popular vote, but he won the Electoral College.
He won the election, and if you think that the Democratic Party is more in touch with the folks, that never would have happened, Juan. Never in a million years.
No. It has. I mean, I think Donald Trump stirred a lot of racial division in the country, but I think he also appealed, and that's how he broke through in states like Michigan, Wisconsin, where Obama had won previously. Suddenly, hey, they went the other way. So these people aren't racist. They just saw something different. And what Donald Trump was offering, I think, was a strong appeal to blue-collar whites about their economic future.
Clinton Democrat vote as well. We'll give you the last word, Lisa. I'm going to ask you the same question. Do you think political correctness is strangling the Democratic Party?
I do think it's strangling the Democratic Party. And what have we seen from them? We've only seen this continued shift to the left. Right now they're in the wilderness, and they're trying to figure out how to get out, Bill. And if you look ahead to 2018, there are 10 Senate seats that you know of where Democrats are running in states where President Trump won. There's 5 of those states he won by double digits. So they're looking at a very red map. And for the problem,
but it all depends on how the president does.
Yes.
Thank you very much, guys. We appreciate it.
What they do.
Plenty more ahead as the factor moves along this evening. Military judge in the Bo Bergdahl desertion case says he's disturbed by comments made by Donald Trump. We'll have the story. Then should the Trump White House stop being on TV so much? Gutfeld McGurk have some thoughts, and we hope you stay tuned for those reports. Unresolved problem segment tonight. Earlier this week, North Korea launched a ballistic missile in violation of a UN mandate. The outlaw country did that to provoke a response from President Trump. With this now, Dana Perino had to deal with North Korea as a spokesperson for Bush the Younger. So I assume that you were involved with a lot of conversations about these nuts, right?
Well, North Korea was certainly top of mind. It was probably in the top 3 issues.
Yeah, okay, because President Bush labeled one of the axis of evil, along with Iran and who else?
Iraq.
And Iraq.
And that was early on in 2002, in which he said that these are countries that are pursuing weapons of mass destruction, and they are regimes that could have terrorists pick up those weapons of mass destruction that could hurt other people.
All right, now there's the current leader, Kim Jong-un. You didn't deal with him. You dealt with his father, who is, you know, as crazy as he is.
Well, I don't know. This one.
You think he's crazy?
This one might take the cake.
Yeah, there's Jong. Okay, but when you're dealing with a rogue outfit like this, I mean, President Trump said we're going to deal with them harshly, and we're going to, I mean, the only way to deal with them harshly is to blow them up, is it not? Because they're not going to listen to reason.
I think that North Korea is a special case, given that it is such a closed society. There's very little information in there. Have you ever seen one of those maps that shows electricity all throughout the world, and that's pretty much all dark? This leader starves his own people. They are in concentration camps, and they're so brainwashed that it's very hard to get information in or out. One of the things that President Bush decided to do was say that the Clinton administration approach of offering concessions before they change their behavior in pursuit of a nuclear weapon,
try to bribe
that
them
around and say you're only going to get concessions if you change your behavior. No, and then I remember specifically Tony Snow as press secretary in July of 2006. We're at the 4th of July. Great time, and the North Koreans always want attention. They're like a child.
Yep.
They throw a tantrum just on the time when you don't want it, and we spend it the rest of the time that evening trying to deal with the fact that they'd sent off these missiles, and now they're doing it again. And I'm not surprised they're doing it now to President Trump.
Okay, but the problem, I don't know if it's a problem. You have a different kind of president now. I mean, I would say that President Bush and Barack Obama were much more restrained, at least in their rhetoric. You don't know in their actions, all right? So Trump is coming across as a guy that says, if you cross us, you're going to pay a heavy price.
And President Trump also campaigned as saying that I'll be unpredictable. Okay, so and that he thinks that is an
that's worrying a lot of people.
And well, I actually think that because President Trump had such a good meeting with the Prime Minister of Japan, Shinzo Abe, this definitely was.
But they're not going to help us. Japan can't.
Sure, they will.
No.
This is
they don't have any sway over North Korea. The only ones with sway are the Chinese.
But that is why President Bush put together the 6-party talks to make sure that China, Russia, Japan, South Korea, that everybody was pushing in the same direction.
So you feel that President Trump will try the diplomacy route, right?
I don't see any reason for him not to. I mean, what's the alternative?
He can blockade him.
Well, the sanctions are one thing they're already in place.
He can put a pretty big hurt on him.
But you're dealing with a leader who starves his own people, so the sanctions.
Yeah, but then he would be starving. There are things you can do to North Korea that would provoke the situation upward. And I don't think that's to anybody's benefit, but they can't be shooting missiles off every 3 days. I mean,
no, and also we need to understand better what their capabilities are. So they can shoot missiles off, but are they aggressively advancing?
Well, they have an atomic weapon. I mean, they have one. So that has to be
and he seems willing to use it.
I'm going to send. I think we should send Dana over there to talk to the guy.
No,
right?
Did you see he killed?
No?
Did you see that his brother mysteriously turned up? He was murdered earlier today.
Who, Kim Jong-un's brother?
Yes.
Yeah, he's dead?
Yeah, so you're going to send me over there?
Well, no, we'll have your bodyguards. We'll send bodyguards with you.
Okay.
We'll send Hammer with you.
Okay.
Okay.
That'll be good. Gutfeld, too, please.
No, you don't want to travel with him. When we come right back, will Sergeant Bo Bergdahl, charged with desertion, get his case thrown out because of comments made by President Trump? We're investigating.
16 years and counting.
Thanks for staying with us. I'm Bill O'Reilly. In the Law and Order segment tonight, the fate of Sergeant Bo Bergdahl. As you may know, he's charged very serious crimes after leaving his post in Afghanistan and putting his Army unit in danger. President Obama traded 5 Taliban commanders for the sergeant's return to the USA. Now, yesterday in North Carolina, lawyers for Bergdahl asked the judge, the military judge, to throw out the case because of statements made by Donald Trump.
We have guys like Bergdahl who get caught. I mean, he left. He was a deserter. He was a deserter. He was a dirty, rotten deserter.
And we knew he deserted when we made the deal. Now, why would you make a deal for a deserter?
What do we do with Sergeant Bergdahl 50 years ago? That's right. Boom. Boom.
Here now to analyze Ebony Williams and Kimberly Guilfoyle. So this trial, Guilfoyle, is supposed to get underway in April. It won't. It's been going on forever, far too long.
Delayed all the time.
But the judge apparently said that he was disturbed by Donald Trump's statements, correct?
Okay, but these were statements made by candidate Trump, and there haven't been any statements subsequent to now him being sworn in and becoming the 45th president of the United States.
But surely the judge knows that.
Well, the judge knows that, but nevertheless, maybe he just wants to make sure that there aren't any issues on appeal, that specifically they're going to have a litigation on a motion like this. It should not be granted. You cannot say that there's been... No, right. It should not be thrown out. Look, they already tried to get a pardon for President Obama. That didn't work. Now they're trying to do it because it's the popular thing to do to grandstand.
Well, I would too. If I were his lawyer, I'd try to get it thrown out,
to
sure.
say that this is what he said.
But it's a military court, Ebony,
right.
and so we're not going to be subjected to politics here as we would in a civilian court.
Ideally.
Ideally. I mean, you never know what's in a judge's mind, but he's a military judge.
5 members.
He understands the seriousness of desertion, particularly because the charges are coupled with some soldiers getting hurt hunting for the man. I mean, that's
hurt, absolutely, but, you know, we've got then candidate Trump saying that people were killed, and we know that was debunked. Look, I agree with KG. Ultimately,
what do you mean people were killed?
That's what candidate Trump said, that several people were killed.
You said it's been debunked. It has not. That evidence has not been presented.
Well, we don't know that it's true. At least that much is true.
But it hasn't been debunked, so be careful.
Fair enough.
That's going to be presented in the trial.
But we don't have any evidence that it's factually correct, right?
Because we haven't seen the trial.
When candidate Trump says this as a private citizen, KG is right. He's allowed to say it. But now he's the commander-in-chief. Now he's the sitting United States president. And I think for a lot of people, even in this military capacity, this 5-person panel, I don't know that they're going to be able to make that distinction. And you can't unring the bell. Well, so although he's not said anything, I wouldn't throw it out either.
But I'm saying,
if I'm his lawyers, I'm going to argue this is a problem.
Is it just the judge making the decision, or is it going to be a military
judge? The judge is going to make the decision. And when you think about...
No, I mean for the ultimate trial.
Oh, the ultimate trial? No,
it's
a 5-panel member.
5 panels.
Correct.
Let them
active military.
You understand there's a safeguard there. They can decide and have other people, if they can't be fair because they're prejudiced by those statements, then they can remove and put a different panel.
They can be replaced. But you cannot ring the bell, so that's out there.
Let's get to an immigration situation. There's a woman who was deported because she had an identity theft, which is a felony, on her sheet, and that was brought up last night. Roll the tape.
Guadalupe Garcia. She's been in this country for 22 years. Look what Donald Trump did. This is what Donald Trump did.
Okay. Nice
kids,
she here illegally?
14 legally.
Why
born
didn't
in the United States.
Here's my question back to you.
A U.S. citizen. So this is exactly what Donald Trump, the deportation czar, has been doing, dividing, destroying American families.
All right, let's clear that up. The woman is not legal in this country, correct, Ebony?
That's correct.
All right,
Factually correct.
Jorge kind of misled us there. The children are. How old are the children?
14 and 16.
14 and 16. They're American citizens.
U.S. citizens.
Guadalupe has been deported, right?
Yes.
Because she had, was it a felony conviction?
Felony charge.
Felony conviction on her sheet.
Yes.
Now, are you okay with that, Gilfoyle, the deportation?
I am okay with it.
Are you
I have
okay
a serious problem with identity theft in this country, and she committed a felony crime, not violence.
She's got 2 kids here.
I understand that, and she was given some leniency under the Obama administration, but under the current orders, this is a deportable crime.
So you're okay with it?
I'm not saying I'm happy for her and her family. I think it's disturbing, but you know, you have to play within the rules.
Keeping in mind the law is stated. Go ahead.
The law is clear, and she's here illegally according to the law. My issue is this. It's inconsistent with what we heard candidate Trump saying on the campaign trail. We're supposed to be rid of rapists, murderers, and the unsavory part of society. She is not a dangerous person. What are we being protected from, Bill?
Time crunch as always. Here's what I would do if I were the president. I would give her clemency and let her come back.
Because you're a gracious man.
No. That's true, of course. But that would make his case for the violent, terrible.
It's better.
Right.
Yes.
And say, look, I'm going to sign clemency for this woman. She can come back and rejoin her teenagers here. But we don't want any more of this.
For the
but we're going to concentrate on the really bad.
And the children are U.S. citizens, and they have subsequently visited
That would be an amazing PR move on a
Well, it would, but then what? You're establishing a precedent. So you have to be prepared to do it.
No, you're not establishing a precedent because he has the right to give clemency as Barack Obama.
And maybe save that political currency for the real danger.
Gotta go.
All right.
Gutfeld McGurk on deck. Could it be? Is it possible that the Trump administration is on TV too much? Then a tip of the day, zombies influencing the factor. Moments away.